take a vitamin today? Fish oil capsules? Maybe you used one of those natural weight loss powders. Then what you're about to hear may come as a bit of a surprise. Because dietary supplements are supposed to be natural, they don't have to be approved in advance by the government, like medicines do before they hit store shelves. And as we discovered, some supplements may not be as safe as they sound.
You get a full multivitamin, memory formula with the ginkgo biloba.
You're undercover with Dateline's hidden cameras inside one of the fastest growing businesses in America.
This is for just overall brain health.
Dietary supplements being sold as medical miracles.
It reduces cholesterol.
It will help build muscle.
Like take care of your blood pressure.
Dietary supplements like these have exploded into a $28 billion industry. Once mostly for bodybuilders, now supplements are used by soccer moms and millions of others. Everything from fish oil to weight loss formulas to vitamins, all on the promise of better health. But with your health at stake, you may be surprised to learn that unlike medicines, the government doesn't approve supplements before they can end up on store shelves. Manufacturers don't have to prove supplements are safe. Companies just have to put a list of ingredients on the label.
It doesn't have to say it on the front, but by law they have to have it on the back.
Most companies are responsible. But what if we told you some lists of ingredients may not be worth the paper they're printed on? Even worse, what if you discovered some supplements can be more like poisons?
My husband and I have a hobby. We have show dogs.
Barbara King says she trusted the label on her supplement, and it was the start of a living nightmare.
And I just progressively started feeling extreme fatigue. My hair started falling out.
Your hair started to fall out?
My hair started to fall out. Every time I would get out of the shower and look, it looked like a dog had been in there shedding.
I called my daughter, and I said, I've just started brushing my hair. I said, my hair is going, Carla.
Dottie Holbrook didn't have any idea why her hair was falling out either.
Oh, this is where my hair was pretty much gone within 10 days.
10 days?
2 weeks. Yes.
I mean, that's stunning, Dot. In a matter of weeks, she'd gone from looking like this to this. Her nails were falling off too. And for dozens of other people, those were just the first symptoms. People like Wendy Binion, an active young mother, until her joints got so sore she could barely walk.
Eventually, I couldn't even stand up. It was so painful to stand up.
At first, no one knew what was causing it, least of all the doctors.
When the blood test came back, he said, we can't find anything. He said, this is the most extensive blood test we can find.
And still nothing.
And still nothing.
So what was making people so sick?
Come on.
Before Barbara was struck by the mysterious illness, she'd started a new diet and a new liquid vitamin. Could that be a clue?
I just wanted a good supplement because I was dieting and I was afraid I wasn't getting everything I needed. And the store clerk recommended that.
That was a liquid vitamin supplement called Total Body Formula.
This is the actual product.
This is the actual bottle. Balance your body the way nature intended.
Right.
The label had a detailed list of ingredients supposedly backed up by scientific testing. A reputable product, she thought, purchased from a reputable store. But when she went back to the GNC to buy more, she made a surprising discovery.
I couldn't find it on the shelf, so I asked the store clerk, where is your Total Body Formula? And he said, well, I doubt we'll ever have any more of that.
And what did he mean by that?
Well, it had been recalled.
Turns out, instead of taking a liquid vitamin they thought would help them, they'd been taking something toxic.
What you find is an ingredient, a mineral, that is potentially deadly.
Mark Zamora, who is one of the lawyers suing on behalf of Barbara King and other people who got sick, says it was an overdose of selenium. Remember, the government doesn't approve supplements, but it can step in later if problems arise. And apparently, Total Body Formula is just one of a host of problems. In the past year alone, the government has issued dozens of warnings about supplements containing potentially deadly ingredients.
These products can cause deaths, strokes, heart attacks. They're very dangerous.
For example, says Dr. Sidney Wolf of the consumer advocacy group Public Citizen, a dangerous ingredient called sibutramine has found its way into dozens of supplements. How do we know sibutramine is dangerous? Because it used to be in a prescription drug called Meridia, until it was pulled off the market because it caused heart attacks. It's part of what Wolf calls an epidemic of contaminated supplements. Everything from weight loss formulas to sexual enhancers.
There have been an unending number of recalls, including more even today as we speak.
Given the current system, can people trust what's on the label of a dietary supplement?
In too many cases, they can't. I think that the best description of a dietary supplement label is "don't know" in big red letters.
We wondered, how could what are supposed to be natural supplements make people so sick? And how on earth could they make it all the way to reputable stores?
It's like the Wild West. They do whatever they want.
Wild, Wild West.
You and I could open a supplement company in the back of a pickup truck.
25 milligrams of selenium.
It might not be in the back of a pickup truck, but we're about to set up our own company, create some poison supplements, and ask labs to check them. All to find out just how wild things can get when it comes to supplements. Coming up, strange black specks show up in the poisoned Total Body Formula. The fix is even stranger.
We strained the black speck out of it.
Tell them how you did that.
We used nylon pantyhose.
When Dateline continues.
I didn't realize how bad it was.
People taking Total Body Formula say the selenium overdose did more than just cause their hair to fall out.
So this wasn't just cosmetic. We're talking about heart problem.
Oh, yes.
Stage 3 kidney failure.
That's right. Stage 5 is the end of it.
That's it.
Kidney failure. Yeah.
We wondered, how did a supplement like Total Body Formula end up on store shelves to begin with? To find out, Dateline started digging through memos once marked confidential. Turns out there were several companies involved. We discovered the problem began when a supplier was trying to prepare the correct amounts of key ingredients. For selenium, there was a mistake in the formula. It said mg for milligram, when it was supposed to be mcg for microgram. If it's been a while since you've been in science class, here's a reminder. This tiny dot represents a microgram. It would take 1,000 of these dots to make 1 milligram. It's a frightening mistake, but it was just the first in a whole series of errors. Example, when another company was blending the selenium into the liquid vitamin drink, records show workers noticed mysterious black specks. Imagine ones like these floating around in the liquid.
I want you to tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Listen to the plant manager under oath explaining what workers did to filter out the specks.
We strained the black speck out of it.
Tell them how you did that.
We used nylon pantyhose.
You heard right. Records show they stretched women's pantyhose over 5-gallon buckets and poured the vitamin formula through them.
Somebody knew about it, and somebody covered it up, and somebody then sent the product on to us.
And it got worse. That company that supplied the selenium was supposed to test the ingredients in a lab to make sure the mixture was accurate.
I do.
A worker at that company admitted in a video deposition that after people started getting sick, her supervisor realized there was way too much selenium.
And she sees that it is through the roof crazy. This is why people's hair is falling out.
But instead of starting a recall, the supplier, Right Enrichment, sent out this false certificate of analysis saying the amount of selenium was safe. Right Enrichment declined our request for an interview, but issued this statement saying the selenium mix was prepared to the exact specifications requested. But the statement doesn't explain why the company issued that false certificate, apparently without testing the mixture in a lab. Earlier this year, the three companies involved in making Total Body Formula settled lawsuits with Dottie Holbrook and others. They denied the product caused the most serious health effects, but admitted it made people's hair fall out. So the question remains, just how reliable are those labels you see on the back of supplements? Frank Jack says some labs fake tests and simply rubber stamp ingredients.
A term that we use is the word dry lab.
Dry lab. And what does that mean?
That means that the sample comes in, the sample goes in the garbage can, never gets tested, and the report goes out.
Jax runs a large testing company called Chromadex. He's a defender of supplements because he knows there are plenty of honest supplement makers. In fact, some of them hire his company when they want to verify what's in their products. But Frank Jack says when he started double-checking results from other labs, he was finding so many mistakes, he started to think some labs were just fancy fronts, pretending to do testing.
It appears that it's essentially a case of rubber stamping.
Is this a situation where dangerous products are getting on the market because of phony test results?
Absolutely.
Could some labs really be faking those critical tests? To find out, we set up our own supplement company, LifeRoot Naturals. And to give labs something to analyze, we create two supposedly all-natural products. We're calling this white powder Burn, our natural weight loss formula.
Just going to close the door to get an accurate measurement.
But Dateline asks experts in Frank Jax's lab to deliberately add two different poisons. Selenium, that's what caused people's hair to fall out, and sibutramine, the dangerous diet drug recalled because it caused heart attacks. We also create a second supplement we're calling Kelp, and we add poisons to it too.
We spiked in certain levels of both arsenic and lead.
Arsenic? That's what they used to put in rat poisoning.
Yeah.
Lead, also dangerous.
Highly regulated, both of them.
The poisons are carefully blended in. Frank Jack says there's no way a lab should miss them. So armed with our spiked samples, it's time to test one of the lab's industry sources told us may be rubber stamping ingredients.
Chris? Hey, how are you? Hey, very well, thank you, Chris.
We're undercover. I'm pretending to be the president of LifeRoot Naturals, our new supplement company. Dr. Dinesh Patel runs a testing lab called Atlas Bioscience.
These are gas chromatographic mass spectrometers plasma.
He gives us a tour of his lab and tells us how some companies even post his lab's certifications online to show they're doing things right.
We have two products. One is the LifeRoot Naturals kelp powder. We have the other product, which is a weight loss supplement called Burn.
In effect, I'm hiring Dr. Patel to be part of my team to help make sure my supplements are safe.
Our suppliers have put these together for us. They have also given us, obviously, their certificate of analysis. Okay. But I want your people to make sure that, in fact,
absolutely,
it is what it's supposed to be.
Correct.
Is there?
The certificate I'm giving him has phony numbers, but I'm totally upfront about everything I want his lab to test for, including that arsenic.
We don't want to have problematic levels of heavy metals.
Correct. In fact, we'll be looking for lead, arsenic, cadmium, and mercury. And
so will he find the poisons?
We'll actually get these logged in today, so we're looking at it.
Or just rubber stamp the phony lab report we gave him. Coming up.
These are all perfectly normal.
It's way off. He's about 1,000 times too low.
Doctor, there's something I need to tell you.
Okay.
And that is, I'm Chris Hansen with DatelineNBC.
And the Hansen Files continues. We've started our own company, created our own products, deliberately spiked them with arsenic and other poisons. And now we're about to find out if a lab will certify they're safe to sell even when they're not.
You got the samples. That's all I need for now.
When the email arrives with his results, there are some big surprises.
I'd like to show you the results.
We take them back to the expert whose lab helped spike our samples with poisons. What about the arsenic we added to our kelp powder? Frank Jack says Dr. Patel missed it by a mile.
He's about 1,000 times too low.
1,000 times too low?
Yes, they didn't find it.
In fact, Dr. Patel missed all of our poisons. What's more, he certified some good ingredients that aren't really there.
Dr. Patel's lab essentially confirmed things that weren't there and did not recognize dangerous things that were there.
That's exactly right.
And it's beginning to look as if Dr. Patel virtually copied those phony reports we gave him. For example, arsenic. We spiked in 200 parts per million, but we wrote down 0.3. Dr. Patel's result? 0.26. Off just enough from our fake number to look like a real test.
So this number is almost identical to the number that we told him.
The phony number we submitted.
That's correct.
For this particular sample number 4.
Is it really possible that he could be so wildly wrong? Or could we somehow be misreading Dr. Patel's report? To make absolutely sure, I arrange another meeting. He still thinks I'm just a businessman, and he doesn't know we've brought along our hidden cameras.
Come on in.
First I ask about our green powder, the one we spiked with arsenic and lead.
So this would be for the kelp extract powder, right?
But Dr. Patel assures me he didn't find anything unusual.
It should be. Absolutely. These are all perfectly normal.
And it's the same story with our burn weight loss powder, the one we spiked with sibutramine and selenium.
So we're in good shape.
Absolutely.
Dr. Patel is saying our poisonous supplements are safe to sell.
Doctor, there's something I need to tell you.
Okay.
It's time to tell Dr. Patel I'm not the businessman he thinks I am.
And then as I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on how bad supplements can possibly end up in stores.
Good.
And as we pull out our regular cameras, I ask whether he's even doing the lab tests.
So the question is, did you do the tests at all, or did you just come up with numbers that were close to the ones we wanted?
I understand what
You get what I'm saying? You know what a dry lab is,
Of course we do.
Is this a dry lab?
Not at all. We reject products as well.
In this email, he blamed us for misleading him. When given misleading information regarding a sample's makeup, we would not be aware that the data being observed is being compromised due to matrix parameters we are not cognizant towards. Confused by that? So were we. So we met up with Dr. Patel one more time.
We came in here to test you.
Correct.
It appeared based on the first results, you failed the test.
And I agree.
So this is the HPLC.
Dr. Patel now admits he got the wrong results, but he gives scientific reasons for why the numbers could be off.
When we're looking at very small quantities, these values do deviate. They deviate hugely. What I'm trying to get to is that in the real world, a shady businessman is not trying to contaminate a product with arsenic, cadmium, and lead.
Either way, other labs didn't seem to miss what we'd planted. We took our samples to the National Center for Natural Products Research, one of the world's premier labs when it comes to supplements. Dr. Ikhlas Khan says his lab detected all of our poisons.
In the kelp we found lead and arsenic.
And were they hard to find?
No.
In fact, several other labs find our poisons too. One even warns us about high arsenic and high lead, saying our products deserve careful review before you decide to use them. But there was no warning like that from Dr. Patel.
These are all perfectly normal.
Remember, he missed everything. And somehow, as if by magic, his wrong results were virtually identical to the phony numbers we gave him. For arsenic, for lead, for sibutramine, even for selenium, the thing that caused people's hair to fall out. The bottom line is, Dr. Patel signed off on dangerous products we could have sold all across the country. We took our findings to the FDA, the government agency responsible for supplements.
We had poisons, including lead and arsenic, that the lab didn't find. Does that surprise you?
For some labs, unfortunately, no.
Daniel Fabricant is the new man in charge of regulating supplements at the Food and Drug Administration. He's soft-spoken, but serious, he says, about cracking down on contaminated supplements. If the government knows about the problem, you might think they have a program to inspect labs. Think again.
Independent labs, are they ever inspected by the FDA?
At present, we're focusing on the manufacturers and distributors.
So no labs are currently being inspected?
No.
Does that concern you?
Yes.
In America, the people who cut your hair have to be licensed, but not the labs that test the supplements you take. Two major groups representing the supplement industry declined to do on-camera interviews. But in a statement, the Council for Responsible Nutrition told us, "We take seriously the allegations of fraudulent laboratory practices raised by this report." And they urge the FDA to use its ample legal authority to take legal action. The Natural Products Association also said it supports government action against any laboratories that may use improper testing methods. Both groups stress the vast majority of supplements are safe. And that brings us back to Total Body Formula and the people who say they've been sickened by supplements that were never properly tested.
So to this day, and forever going forward, you're going to worry about damage to your liver,
Right.
your kidneys,
Right.
your heart,
That's right.
all because of a vitamin.
I would never have believed it if I hadn't gone through it myself.
And here's something else you might not believe. The FDA says it only has 22 full-time people at its headquarters supervising the $28 billion supplement industry, Lester.
And are there particular categories of these supplements that folks should be more concerned about?
Excellent question. The FDA says the biggest problems it's found are with weight loss formulas, muscle-building supplements, and those supplements that are supposed to help you in the bedroom.
And if you're taking some of these supplements, how do you find out their status?
The best thing you can do, Lester, is to check the FDA website, which lists supplements it has identified as dangerous after they're on the market. You can find a link to the FDA site plus tips on buying safe supplements on our website, DatelineNBC.com.